Kent Online News.
News you can trust.
This is the Kent Online Podcast. Nicola Everett.
Hello, hope you're okay. On Thursday, July the 9th, thanks ever so much for downloading today's podcast. Our top story today is that 30 years on from the murders of a mum and daughter in Kent, a top international lawyer has been hired to try and clear the man serving life in prison. Lin and Megan Russell were attacked as they walked along a country lane in Chillenden on this day in 1996. Michael Stone from Gillingham has always protested his innocence, and now fresh tests are going to be carried out on a blood-stained shoelace found at the scene. Well, our reporter Nicola Jordan has been covering this story since the very beginning and joins me on the episode. Nicola, can you just remind us exactly what happened on that day?
It was a very, very grim afternoon in a pretty little village called Chillenden near Canterbury. Mum and her two daughters, Lin Russell and her daughter Megan and Josie, were doing their usual walk home from school after a swimming gala. And they were brutally attacked by somebody, in fact, bludgeoned to death with a hammer. It caused national outcry. It was a huge manhunt that literally took over a year before they arrested Michael Stone in Gillingham. Michael Stone had a criminal record and was known to the police, and he was then arrested and charged.
Miraculously, Josie Russell survived the attack. Now, as you say, Michael Stone has been in prison for a very, very long time. He's always maintained his innocence. What's the latest update? Well,
the latest is, he's been through 2 trials, 1 appeal and several reviews from the Criminal Review Committee. What's happened now is a major breakthrough in DNA science, forensic science. So they're actually revisiting him today, the actual anniversary at HMP Franklin Prison in Durham, high security prison obviously, to do a new DNA sample, so all these years on. And this could actually confirm that Michael Stone was not at the scene, because throughout this whole procedure, there's been no DNA to link Michael Stone to the site, the scene of crime.
And a belief test will also be done on that shoelace found at the scene that I mentioned.
This mystery shoelace has been sort of like disappearing and emerging over the years. That no one quite knows what's happened, but it suddenly found its way back onto the scene, and they will be re-examining this shoelace, along with some rags believed to be the towels from the swimming gala that were used to tie up Lin Russell and her daughters.
Now, Michael Stone's sister has also always insisted he wasn't responsible for the murders. How's she feeling right now?
She is feeling really optimistic, the most optimistic I've actually heard her in a very, very long time. Barbara Stone is Michael's younger sister and has fought tirelessly on his behalf over the years. She calls him every day. She's absolutely 100% convinced of his innocence, and I've never seen her more upbeat than she is now. And she's spoken to Michael, and he is as well. I mean, he's so glad that these tests are being done. It's something he's called for such a long time.
And they have a new lawyer.
They certainly do. A very highly acclaimed international lawyer with some very high-profile cases, to her experience. And she is absolutely 100% convinced that Michael Stone didn't do it. I spoke to her last night, and she is quite passionate about this case, and she will fight and fight until she says justice is done.
Nicola, thank you ever so much, and you can also read Nick's report today at Kent Online.
Kent Online News.
Other top stories, and part of the A20 in Dover was closed earlier after a person was hit by a lorry. It happened near the junction with Union Street just after 3:30 this morning. Drivers heading to the port were urged to use the A2 and Jubilee Way instead while an investigation took place. A woman's been arrested by police responding to concerns for the welfare of a child in Faversham. Officers were called to Westgate Road yesterday. We're told inquiries are ongoing. A sex offender from East Malling who reached speeds of 85 miles per hour as he tried to get away from police has been jailed. Jordan McGrath-Colstock was disqualified from driving when he led officers on a chase along country roads in April. The 26-year-old from Carnation Crescent has been locked up for 2 years, just 6 months months after being freed from another sentence. A Rochester man who physically and mentally abused a woman, then hid in a fridge to try and avoid being arrested, has been jailed. A court was told Dean Ford cut his victim off from friends and family, controlled her social media, and even threatened her with a knife. Well, this is the moment he was discovered and arrested.
Hey, hello, mate. Have a come. Get out.
I'm in right.
Get out.
Get
out.
What are you doing?
Get out.
All right,
you are
you
under
don't
arrest,
have to- my
okay?
foot's broken.
You don't have to say anything
I've
but
got
it may have an
broken
offence if you do not
foot.
mention one
Okay.
person
Right,
stated
you
later
don't
on
have
in
to grab
court.
me like that.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Out we get.
All right, be nice.
So you've got 2 counts of ABH and criminal
nice.
damage at the moment.
Be nice.
So get out.
Be nice.
Get out
I'm not
before I
gonna be
call
nice.
you out. You're wanted for a report in which states that you've effectively dragged her out of a tent and hit her head all over the floor. Second one, I suspect that the injuries downstairs that are caused to her, black eye, marks around the throat, and all marks up the side of her are caused by you.
The 33-year-old from Brooker Close has been sentenced to 3 years.
Kent Online reports.
A baby hedgehog's died after reportedly being kicked like a football by a group of children in Maidstone. The animal was taken to a rescue centre in Pluckley but had sustained serious injuries and was put to sleep. Bosses, they say it's the 4th case of its kind in the past year. Firefighters in Kent have admitted they had to borrow specialist kit from London to tackle a blaze because their own wasn't available due to technical issues. The county's 3 height vehicles have been out of action for the past 2 weeks, although one is now back in service. One person had to be treated after breathing in smoke following a blaze in a top-floor flat in Folkestone on Tuesday. An NHS consultant who claimed he'd been victimised for raising concerns about racism, violence and patient safety at a Kent hospital has lost an employment tribunal. Robert Ritchie brought allegations against Medway Maritime while working there in 2013, claiming it had reached crisis point. All aspects of his case were dismissed following a 5-day hearing. Now, next on today's episode, primary school children in Ashford have become the first of their age group in Kent to start a digital detox. Year 6 youngsters at Great Chut have volunteered to trade their smartphones for a basic Nokia for a week, all in an attempt to tackle screen addiction. Now, it comes ahead of a ban on social media for under 16s next year. We've been hearing from the school's safeguarding lead, Miss Adams, and Year 6 pupil, Oscar.
We heard about it at a meeting. I've been involved in online safety in Kent for a long time, and the University of Kent did a project with some secondary school pupils, and there was a programme called Swiped on television, and they took the children's mobile phones from them for a week and locked them away, and the children were given brick phones. So I got in contact with them and they were happy to run it with a primary school for the first time. So we are the first primary school to do something like this. And so, yes, the children have, they were asked if they wanted to take part in it, and they are giving up their smartphones for a week, and they're seeing what it's like to live with a Nokia brick-style phone.
You used to mention that it's the first primary school to be doing it. There's a lot of talk, I suppose, about the social media ban coming in and sort of secondary pupils and older pupils facing challenges. Why do you think it's important that we start addressing it at this younger age?
It's a perfect time because they're going to the transition to secondary school, getting them they've got to get used to the fact that social media apps will be banned, and it puts less pressure on parents. So if the children realise they actually can cope without having a smartphone while they're out and about, then that's a good thing. We're seeing children's problems in school with a lot of mental health problems, a lot of distraction problems, tiredness, everything else. So I think the children themselves will agree that it has a negative effect on them a lot of the time.
You guys volunteered, so it was a voluntary project. Can you tell me a little bit about why you volunteered for the project?
I just wanted to have a break from smartphone. Just feel like I use it too much sometimes. I need a break from it sometimes.
And we're a day in. I mean, how have you found that so far?
I haven't really seen much difference because I use it a lot, but I sometimes don't use it at all, so I don't find that difference.
Actually, the thing they were looking forward to most was getting outside, and obviously it is easier in the summer.
What about having that technology do you think you're going to need as you move into secondary school?
I don't actually know, I just feel like I need it.
I think it's hard when they've had it to then take it away from them. I think What we need, hopefully, we'll see over the next few years, is that children will get these phones later and later. And actually, our school from September 27, children won't be allowed smartphones in school. From next year, they have to be locked away. That's the government. It's now a legal requirement. Schools and children are not allowed to have their phones out at school or available to them at school. And that's primary and secondary.
Kent Online News.
A West Malling restaurant has closed for major building work. Bosses of St Leonard's say they need to carry out repairs following a fire there 3 years ago, and that can't be done while trading. They're hoping to reopen on Swan Street after the summer. Extra bin lorries have been brought in to help collect rubbish in Thanet after residents complained of growing piles of waste. Bosses are also reviewing collection routes after issues following the rollout of a new recycling system for 27,000 homes. Now, audiences are being promised a West End-style experience when a Kent theatre finally reopens. The Orchard in Dartford has been closed for 3 years after potentially dangerous rack concrete was found in the roof. It's since undergone a £28 million revamp and will open in December in time for Panto. Tal Rosen is the theatre's director.
It feels incredibly exciting to start planning for the reopening in December. It's a long time coming. We've been waiting 3 years for this momentous moment in the Orchard's history. So it's the most excited we've been in a long time. The reopening season holds quite a gravitas amount of productions that we have showing, from Blood Brothers, Singing in the Rain, The Single Man, and it's productions that we haven't had in a good few years. So these big West End Broadway productions that we haven't been able to feature as part of our programme in Orchard West, we have the opportunity to do so, as well as reopening with a digital version of Cinderella with Joe Pasquale, who's one of the biggest names in the pantomime circle, with a digital screen. So we've never had the animated digital screen featured as part of our pantomime set. We're moving away from the traditional pantomime set that we've had to an immersive digital experience at the renewed Orchard Theatre.
So how have things been behind the scenes? Could you maybe talk about the process?
Yeah, it's been a challenging process. What started as a roof replacement originally at the Orchard has turned into a whole renewed project of every single nook and cranny of the Orchard, and bringing all elements of the Orchard into modern compliance, fit for the future. So it's been challenging experience. It's been a collaborative experience with our partners at Dartford Borough Council and the contractors, designers, and all experts within the field, working live. It's work on a live project. Usually you'd be designing something for 5-10 years down the line, but this is, we're designing, procuring, building as we go along, just so we're able to get the venue open as quick as possible, whilst continuation of live entertainment in Dartford, and reopening the doors for our theatre goers, to get back to the programme they know and love. So it's been a really challenging but rewarding experience to get the Orchard back to its full glory. But it's had enormous challenges, a lot of unexpected issues that have arisen over the past 3 years. But it's one to ensure that we are building the theatre for the long terms, longevity, the renewed Orchard Theatre 2.0, as we call it. So we're securing the next generation of the Orchard for the next 40 to 50 years.
Finally, Kent's biggest theatre is going to take on an historic building for just £1 a year, all in return for a multi-million-pound investment. Bosses at the Marlow in Canterbury are hoping to turn the Poor Priests Hospital in the city into a creative and learning centre. The deal will see the Theatre Trust secure £8.5 million to redevelop the space, which will be known as the Hive.
Kent Online Sport.
Cricket first up, and former Kent player Tammy Beaumont has announced her international retirement. The 35-year-old, who was born in Dover, will leave the team after this week's women's test match against India at Lord's. On to football, and two-time Ballon d'Or winner Alexia Putellas has signed for Kent-based London City Lionesses after leaving Barcelona. The 32-year-old, who won 38 trophies with the Spanish club, has agreed a 3-year deal with the WSL side, who train in Aylesford. And £54,000 is going to be spent on upgrading a sports pitch in Hythe. The multi-use games area was installed on the green more than 20 years ago and has become run down. The Town Council has approved plans to refurbish the facility to have a five-a-side pitch, basketball court and cricket crease. Well, that's all from us for today. Thanks ever so much for listening. Don't forget you can follow us on socials, plus you can get details on the top stories direct to your email each morning via the briefing. To sign up, just head to kentonline.co.uk, and whilst you're on the site you can also subscribe to Kent Online Premium. That gives you access to content with fewer ads and exclusive stories.
News you can trust.
This is the Kent Online Podcast.